So picture this. Now you're having a lovely, peaceful, hot cup of tea. Classic British day. Now imagine someone across the Atlantic hurls a stone into a pond. Now, at first you don't see the initial splash, but those ripples, they travel. And soon enough, those ripples nudge you, and now you've spilt that lovely, hot British tea. So that's basically what's happening now when Trump's playing around with these tariffs. He makes a move in America, and then as a byproduct, those shock waves, they hit supply chains, they hit economies, and eventually they hit your wallet. So today, people, we're diving into what tariffs actually are, why they matter to you in the UK, and what you can do to actually stay ahead. So what are tariffs? Let's break this down. So a tariff is basically a toll booth, okay, in a nutshell, on international trade. So let's just say America, let's say we'll want to buy steel from China, but Trump says, hold on a second, you're going to have to pay an extra to sell that steel over here. That extra fee is a tariff. So in simple terms, it's like you go into your local corner shop and let's just say you buy some bananas, and suddenly, boss man, that shopkeeper says, hold on, these bananas came directly from Brazil. So suddenly they're £1.50 more. Now, that's not just a price change, that's a tariff. And the funny thing is, what people don't understand is that that shopkeeper didn't actually pay that extra £1.50. You did. Now, tariffs don't just stop at, borders of countries. They actually trigger reactions. And this is what we've been seeing recently over the past few weeks. Now, Trump's raised tariffs on China, as we know, on their import goods. China's clapping back. They're coming with their own tariffs. Even the EU, they're getting involved also. And the problem is, it's like a chain of dominoes, and if it continues for too long, the next things it will start impacting is your everyday household items on that grocery list of yours, or even your wage packet. Just imagine a long row of shopping carts all crashing into each other in slow motion. Now, the first one was initially pushed back in Washington. Now, you could be in a random Tesco in Leeds, and that last trolley still hits your ankles. This is what's happening. And this is not just about buying, it's also about selling, it's about exports also. Now, UK businesses rely on exporting their goods. Now, suddenly, they're finding themselves in a bit of a pickle because they're paying more to essentially sell abroad. They're paying more to sell the same thing. When that happens and continually happens, what happens then? Trade slows down. And when trade slows down, that's bad news. That's bad news for everybody. It's bad news for an economy. It's bad news for the workers because their jobs are now on the line. They're in the crosshairs. And income starts to wobble. Right, so the tangible fallouts that we're going to see in the short term here in the UK are definitely the first thing, which we all hate to hear, is higher pricing. And higher pricing sucks across the board, no matter who you are. So let's say you're shopping for that new phone, that new iPhone, or even a car, or even stuff like kitchenware. A lot of these items, they utilize parts from elsewhere, outside of the UK. Now, when tariffs make those parts pricier, it's just going to make the end product pricier. And that cost, again, like we said, is not picked up by the manufacturer. It's picked up by us, the consumer. No different to baking a cake. With all those ingredients that suddenly cost more, it doesn't matter if you're baking it here in the UK. Those eggs, those flour, they've got more expensive. So as a byproduct, your slice will get more expensive. Next, it's going to cause export pain. So UK companies selling overseas, they'll start to find their goods getting taxed on arrival. It's like sending a gift to a friend in the US and they get that bill before they've even opened their package. Now, we all know when we're ordering things from the US how expensive it is anyway. That's about to go up. It's going to get even more red tape around it. So that's definitely going to make UK products less attractive, and it's going to slow down more business, and it's going to hurt jobs. One thing businesses hate more than bad news is uncertainty. Economies hate uncertainty, the markets hate uncertainty, and with the Brexit thing settling, coupled with these tariff implementations, companies are going to start to hit the brakes, and this is what we're seeing. And when that happens, this could actually mean less hiring and definitely slower growth. And what it does, it creates a kind of financial fog for all of us. So here's the big question, which most people are probably thinking, is what can the average person actually do? What can we do? Now, you might not be in Parliament, but you're still in the game. You've always been on the chessboard. Now, what piece you end up at, that's down to you and your moves. But here's how you can actually stack the odds in your favour. So firstly, it sounds small, but it's very powerful. And it's to be a bit more conscious and shop local where you can. Now, every pound is like a vote. Think of it in that way. So vote for kind of economy that you want to see. Start choosing local, whether it's your milk, whether it's your bread, even handmade furniture. That keeps money flowing in our communities, and that's very important. And it dodges a lot of those tariff-related prices that we spoke about. So think of it like this. So buying local is like you tightening your circle, your economic circle. Now you cut out that middleman. This is where a lot of fees start going, these hidden taxes. The middleman takes those. You eliminate all that shipping drama, which we've all been through before. And yes, the most important thing, you start to eliminate that tariff tax man. Now next, I'm not your financial advisor, I'm not your financial guru, but the next thing is to try to budget a little bit smarter, especially when prices rise. Even by a little, your budget will now adjust to that. That's why I think trimming back any kind of non-essentials, start planning a bit more of your spending. Understand that money is the tool. It's not this thing that you earn. So I think planning and being a bit more intentional with your spending isn't going to harm you in any way. I think it can only benefit. Because spending right now is more important than ever. And fellas, it's a little like when we're packing that emergency bag for the wife before the storm, okay? We've all been there before. And it doesn't mean that we're panicking. It helps us eliminate that panic, and it just puts us in position to be prepared for the moment. Now, thirdly, I think this is very important, and I spoke about this on a previous video, is when the market's down, this is key. When the market is down, when the market dips, like they often do in uncertain times, because the stock market hates uncertainty. Stocks, your favorite stocks, are literally half price right now. And it's like you going into your favorite clothing store and it's on clearance day. That's a sale you would go to. Think of assets, think of stocks in the same way. When they drop in price, it is a sale. You need to go to those sales, and where you can afford to, deploy some money, because that's what's going to put you ahead, and that's going to financially transcend you forward once the market recovers. Because every dip isn't a bad thing. And the word dip just means down isn't permanent. So it's important that we put some money behind these financial dips when uncertain times come. So when it recovers, you will most certainly be in a better financial position. Now, the last thing I think is very important, because again, it ties in with uncertainty. And we don't know right now which direction the job market's going. Because jobs are shifting. Now, if you're in a sector that could be affected, like your manufacturing, like retail, it's definitely worth brushing up on some digital skills. You know, focus on that remote work, or even trades that are future-proof. You know, there's many out there. So imagine your skill set kind of like a toolbox. Now, the more tools you have, the more doors you can unlock. Stay informed, stay calm, but stay informed. Don't bury your head in the sand, because all of this, whether you like it or not, it affects you in some way, shape or form. Now, I get it, the news can feel very overwhelming. And it's important that you choose your outlets that you listen to very carefully. But staying informed helps you spot these waves, spot these patterns before they crash. And that helps you to be mobile. That helps you to be a bit more proactive opposed to reactive. Don't get lost in all the noise, because there's so much out there. Just check in now and then. And remember, being calm beats panic every single time. So Trump's tariffs, they might seem way out there, they're far off, and a kind of a crazy political move on his part. But their effects, they're going to ripple out. They are going to touch things like price increasing, it's going to touch jobs, and how secure our economy feels here in the UK. But you out there watching, you're not powerless. Because by making small, smart, concise moves, like supporting local, maybe adding that budgeting in a little bit more wisely, and most importantly, investing that little bit of money you can when times are down. Staying sharp between the ears, staying informed, and this will help you ride out the storm. Thanks for sticking around. If you learned something today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, maybe even share it out to a mate and help them understand what's happening in these uncertain times. Until next time, stay ready, stay steady, and mind that tea.